All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going? It's Els here. Um, we're going to skip the 4.1.1 patch notes because it didn't have a ton in there. If you guys want to go back and read them, feel free. But as it pertains to like balance, there just wasn't much. This is supposed to be the balance change patch. I haven't looked at it yet, so we're going to go through it. We'll get my reaction. We'll get my thoughts at the time. And as always, I want your guys' thoughts on these too. You know, maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm overlooking a very specific aspect that I didn't think of. That's what these are for. This is kind of one of the more exciting parts of the game. And, you know, with PvP being down for as long as it was, this is the most exciting part of the game is the next patch and, you know, what they can potentially break next. So let's dive into it. 4.1.2. Combat and gameplay, Warden, Green Balance, Lotus Flower. Temporary disabled the heal from this ability and its morphs from working with Mend Wounds Light Attack to prevent a serious bug from occurring. A fix to this for this issue will be included in a future patch. Okay. Alright. So Lotus Flower is the skill that Wardens have that gives you your major crit bonus. So on top of it, your light and heavy attacks can also heal you. They took away the heal. Interesting. Well, I wonder what the bug was. All right, crafting economy, jewelry crafting. Added jewelry crafting materials to some blacksmithing resource nodes. You will occasionally find a single unit of dust on a blacksmithing node or 2 units of dust if the Plentiful Harvest passive triggers. If the blacksmithing node's material is based on your character level, then so is the dust you'll find on it. If the blacksmithing node's material is based on your blacksmithing passive rank, then the dust you will find will be based on your jewelry crafting passive rank. Okay. Significantly reduce the amount of boosters needed to improve the quality of jewelry. At maximum rank of plating expertise, it now takes only a single piece of turn plating to go from white to green, 2 iridium platings to go from green to blue, 3 zircon platings to go from blue to purple, and only 4 chromium platings to go from purple to gold. Cool. That was quite the grind. Jewelry crafting writs will no longer award turn, iridium, or zircon grains. They will now only reward chromium grains, with the chance to obtain a grain increasing with the rank of jewelry crafting writ completed, similar to other durable trade skill writ rewards. All right, so if you kind of zoned out there, basically what they're saying is they made it easier to upgrade jewelry. It just, you know, this is just what they do as stuff is introduced. It's a lot harder initially to get you to grind, and then they make it a little bit easier as you go. Dungeons, Moon Hunter Keep, Exploration Itemization, Combat and Abilities. Alright. Combat and Gameplay. Enchantments now remember the weapon from which they were fired. This means if you fire a bow ability and weapon swap, then when that bow ability deals damage, the enchantment on your bow will fire. Note, this was introduced in patch 4.1.0, but wanted to include it in these patch notes to clarify the intended change. Interesting. So, okay. More burst potential, basically. Alright. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out. So, I thought that's how it always worked. I thought you didn't get the proc until... Oh, maybe you had to stay on your bar. I think you had to... Yeah. I'll have to double check to confirm, but maybe like you had to, if I remember correctly, when it landed, you had to be on that bar for it to go off. Or maybe it just, I don't remember it going off right away. Like I thought the attack had to land in order for your enchant to proc. I don't, Alright, whatever. Well, we'll not waste your guys' time. I'll go back and look at that later. Nightblade Assassination, Deathstroke, Incapacitating Strike Morph. This ability now stuns if you have 120 ultimate or more. To visually show its readiness state, the icon will change to a recolored version and the animation of the cast will change. Okay. I was fine with the previous change. I thought getting rid of the stun was okay with less health, but I guess people found some workarounds. So you have to build more ultimate in order to use it to its full ability. So now it's a lot more like Dawnbreaker with cost. So it's a single target, higher costing ultimate if you want the stun. So makes sense. It's still, you know, a nerf to in-cap, and in-cap is still one of the strongest ults in the game, if not the strongest ult in the game. Yeah, I mean, that's very powerful. Sorcerer, Dark Magic, Rune Prison, Rune Cage Morph. This ability now only deals damage if the stun lasts for its full duration. Okay, good change. This is a very good change. That's the way it should be anyways. Like, the Rune Prison, Rune Cage in general is just a nasty, nasty skill. It's undodgeable, it's unblockable, and it does damage. And if you watch my Sorc builds, like, you can get some very bursty combinations off with Rune Cage. And there's not much counter to it. So getting rid of some of the burst is good. I would still like to see a counter with this, like making it dodgeable or something like that, or decreasing the range. And I know, as is the case when calling for a nerf for any specific class, there's going to be somebody out there that's going to go, well, why do that? Why do that? Here's my reasoning. Magicka DKs have an unblockable, undodgeable CC. It's fossilized. It has an 8-meter range. So it's unblockable and it's undodgeable, but its range is only 8 meters. So you can get outside of the range. You can be far enough away to where it's not effective. I actually had to change my ultimate on my Magicka DK to Dragon Leap in order to deal with that adjustment, because I couldn't always CC somebody when I was dropping a meteor on them. Nightblades have an unblockable, undodgeable CC as well, but it is very close ranged. It's an AoE CC that affects 2 people, but it's also very close range. I want to say it's like 4 or 5 meters. I think I'm pretty sure it's less than 8, but I want to say it's 5. So you have that, but you have to be up close and personal when you're dealing that damage. Rune Prison, before they did this, and this might be enough, like I'd have to play with it first before that, but Rune Cage is unblockable, undodgeable, does damage, and it has like a 20-meter range if I remember correctly. So it has all the range that you would want. And so if anybody tries to get away, well, if you're in range of the caster, they can still CC you mid-dodge roll, drop a meteor on your head. You know, it just works very, very well, and there's no range mitigation that the other major CCs have. So that's why I think reducing the range or making it something like dodgeable would make it... this, like I said, this might be enough. I'm going to have to play with it a little bit and see what happens, you know, see how it goes. But very powerful CC still. It still goes, I mean, it's still going to be powerful without this damage happening, so most of the time. Templar, Dawn's Wrath, Radiant Destruction. Increase the maximum bonus execute damage dealt by this ability and its morphs to 480% from 400%. Okay. Now, people are going to be mad about this as well, and they're going to go, oh, Radiant, blah, 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 OP, blah, blah, blah. It only starts scaling this high when you're at super low health. You know, it's not gonna, it's not like the old Radiant where the upfront damage was just insane and like you could just Radiant somebody at half health and you could drop them down to 0 and then execute them because the upfront damage is way too powerful. What this is saying is when you drop below 20% health and it starts scaling, it does a little bit more damage. They did the same thing with Executioner a few patches ago. I don't see a problem with this. So I don't think it's going to all of a sudden make, you know, this isn't going, like, people are going to spam Jesus Beam anyways, but when you're at low health and they have that beam on you, like really low health, you're not always going to be able to survive and get out of it. So I actually like this change. Restoring Light, Rune Focus, increase the duration of this ability and its morphs to 20 seconds from 18 seconds, and reverted the cost increase to this ability and its morphs. Alright. Weapon, two-handed heavy weapons. Fixed an issue where the axe blade would not stack when multiple players use it against the same enemy. Destruction Staff, Impulse, Pulsar, fixed an issue where this ability was only applying minor mangle to one target. Alright. Guild, Psijic Order, Mend Wounds, reverted the change that toggled this ability and its morphs off if you weapon swap to an action bar that did not have it slotted. Alright. Item set, Slowed Semblance. A projectile will now fire when this item set procs, which applies the damage over time effect. This projectile can be dodged. Okay. Wow. Okay. So Slodes had all sorts of problems. I'm just going to talk through it, like instead of thinking, I'll just say it out loud. Slodes had all sorts of problems with how it was proccing. It was proccing often, very easily. Up close melee class were using it. The most annoying class for me that was using it was ganking Stam Nightblades using Snipe and Mark. And they would hit you with a Snipe, a Poison Injection, and mark you. And then they will continue to snipe you. And you're trying to 1v5, and you have one guy constantly going into stealth that you can't find, and you're dealing with other people, and they're just peppering you, and you're getting pulled out of stealth by Slodes. Slodes is pulling you out of stealth every time you try to cloak. So this will now stop that a little bit. So you'll be able to see it coming. You can dodge roll it. If it's like the other projectiles in this game, it'll be very slow and easy to see. It'll be easy to dodge as well for that reason. They also took one of the ticks off of this, so I like that change. I think it brings it a lot more in line with other sets. I still think it might be too strong, but they took away one of the ticks. That might be enough. I don't know. I think a little bit longer of a cooldown would still be in place, but we'll see it. I understand that over nerfing, but it might still be a little on the strong side. We'll see. Vicosa slightly adjusted the 5-piece bonus from this item set. 5-piece. When you taunt an enemy, you frighten them with a deafening howl. Apply a major maim to them for 3 seconds, lowering their damage done by 30%. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds. That was the old one. New. When you bash an enemy you've taunted, you frighten them with a deafening howl, applying major maim to them to 3 seconds, lowering their damage done by 30%. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds. See, they didn't change the cooldown on it. They just changed how it procced. I mean, it doesn't matter how it procs. I mean, you can bash, you can hit with a taunt. It's not hard to do. I guess it's changed it to where you can't use a ranged taunt on them. But still, it's only 3 out of 15 seconds. Set's still underwhelming for me for PvP. Yeah. Lion's Horn PvP, adjusted several guards of Chalman Mine so they can be hit by ranged attacks. Battlegrounds, fix an issue where you were still able to cast Undo to get back into starting areas. Alright. Art and Animation, Crafting and Economy, Housing, Miscellaneous, Quests and Zones, UI. Alright. So that's the end of the patch notes, I guess. Yeah, overall, I was kind of expecting to see a little bit more balance changes. I think the Slodes nerf, it's a step in the right direction. We'll have to see what happens. I still don't think it's enough. I don't think the Rune Cage change is enough, personally. Yeah. I feel like they're missing something, and I can't really think about what they're missing off the top of my head, if that makes any sense. Like I don't know. I'm not going to keep beating the drum, but they still haven't done anything to address how proc sets stack in no CP. And at some point, they have to look at that, and they have to realize that you were getting so much damage running so many proc sets in no CP campaigns. And if they just changed how they scaled, you know, maybe put a modifier in the CP tree, like, you know, in the gear sets with CP, you know, so it scales if you take it off. So you have 2 different base amounts. Like, you shouldn't be able to... I'm just speaking out loud at this point, but I don't think the proc set damage is being reduced enough in no CP. And that is creating an imbalance because then every class wants to run proc sets in order to destroy people in no CP campaigns. So there's a bunch they can do there, and they need to eventually look at it. It's too bad that's not in here. But anyway, that's the patch notes. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.